It's your boy Conserviz34, and today I'm going to talk about Kenny Chesney postponing his 2021 summer tour dates in various football stadiums and moving them to 2022. He's the second major artist, in my opinion, to make an announcement about the fate of a large-scale tour. And in this case, this is the only one that's a major United States coast-to-coast tour. Because Taylor Swift was the first one, but she only had 4 dates amongst 2 stadiums. Ironically, these 2 stadiums are stadiums Kenny Chesney had dates for. 2 in Gillette Stadium for Taylor Swift and 2 in SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California, right next to the LA Forum. You know, those Taylor Swift shows were just outright canceled. Kenny has shows at these same venues, but he's not canceling the shows and saying, look, everyone gets refunds. He's just postponing them till 2022. This is the way to go. I think this is the best thing to do. This is the second postponement for Kenny. He, obviously 2020, he couldn't play those shows. No major act could do that in a large stadium. So he pushed it to 2021. Now he's pushing it to 2022. If you want a refund, you can still get it. Go to your point of purchase and you can get a refund. But if you want to keep your tickets, if you got good seats, you don't want to stress out in 2022, going on Ticketmaster to log in somewhere and get kicked out, you are able to keep your tickets. And I think this is the best strategy because it allows fans like me, who I have good seats to some shows that probably going to get moved to 2022, I can keep those tickets and not have to worry about it in 2022. And for those people who, hey, money is tight, they wanted to hold on to these, but they can't, they can do one of 2 things. They can ask for the refund, or they can go on the secondary, and if they have good seats, they can make a little bit of a profit if that's what they choose. This is a win-win for if you want to keep them or if you want to get a refund. And I think it's better than what Taylor Swift did because there's going to be shows eventually in 2022. And if it's still bad in 2022, in 2023, people will tour again. So why not allow them to keep their tickets instead of just canceling everything? And now every Taylor Swift fan is going to have to stress out again. If she only does 4 U.S. tour stops like she had set up for 2020 and then 2021, they're going to have to stress about trying to get to one of 2 venues for 4 different shows across those venues. Now, Kenny Chesney says in his heartfelt Twitter message, I talked to medical experts, stadium people, local officials, and this was across the country. And the one thing he struggled with, he said, but if we can only do 2/3 of the audience, who decides who doesn't get to come to the shows we've been waiting for? And that's ultimately the dilemma every major act has that's filling up arenas or amphitheaters or football stadiums like Kenny Chesney. There's not going to be 100% capacity, especially north of the Mason-Dixon line, and even in states like Florida, where you have open states by the idea of the public, but you have places like Disney World that have limited restrictions. Live Nation is going to try to restrict people for its own liability and safety, right? So I like how Kenny is really keeping it honest. He has to make a tough choice. If he wants to have a tour in 2021, he would have to cancel 2/3 of the tickets for, I'm guessing this is just the average. That some, like New York, you're going to have to cancel more. Some in Florida and Texas, you may have to cancel less. But on average, he's saying about 2/3 of my show, 2/3 of the tickets I sell, and Kenny Chesney sells out these stadiums for the most part. I'm going to have to send emails to a certain percentage, and people are going to be mad and hurt and upset because they've been waiting. They saved their money. The reason they kept their tickets because they wanted to go. Now, if you keep it, you can actually go in 2022 or get the refund. So this is the best strategy. And ultimately, Kenny is saying what no other band really wants to say right now, because many bands are trying to hold out hope for their fans, but it's come to the point where more bands right now in late March or in early April, they need to make decisions. I believe the Strokes is going to be at the LA Forum in May. Cancel that. I mean, don't cancel it. Postpone that son of a gun. You're not having 100% capacity at the LA Forum in May. It's not possible. It's not happening. I could see Houston. I could see Tampa. I don't see LA, which is late to the party because now they're losing money and they're losing residents. So now they're actually trying to open up stuff. But there's no way LA is going to allow the Forum to be 100% by May. Maybe 50%, maybe 40, 30, 20%. but not know 100%. Strokes, postpone the show, cancel the show, do something with it. That's why I respect Kenny, because he is the first to bravely come out with the Coast to Coast U.S. tour of just multiple shows and different things across the country. Say, look, I'm putting it on hold. And I think more acts are going to follow. I think it should be sooner rather than later. And I think one of the things he's talking to these officials in, listen, these artists have to pay for insurance. They have to pay for security. They have to pay for tour people. These sets are not just simple, basic sets, right? They charge people the price to put on an elaborate show full of entertainment. The GA Pit is a sandbar party, so they got to make it look official. They're not going to compromise the full experience of the show just to have a show during 2021, right? You have to bring large tours, large security, like I said, large insurance costs. And things are really uncertain right now. When things are uncertain now, you can't solidify dates in the future. And what's going to happen as well, what's holding off, or what I've been hearing as well, is that a lot of venues are holding hope that they can move their June and July dates to August and September of 2021. That's why you're not hearing more people come forward like Kenny Chesney, because in the amphitheaters, like Kenny is doing stadiums like Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts, and SoFi Stadium in LA. That's one thing. But the amphitheaters, the football stadiums, they're gonna make money off the football events and other stuff that will go on in 2021, because sports will be back with fans, because it's just different. They can do 10% capacity and still make TV money. So it's going to be back. They don't mind as much. But the amphitheaters, they live off of this idea that you have to have these sold out concerts coast to coast in order for Live Nation to make some moolah. So they are trying to hold out hope. There was an email sent to members of the pavilion out there in Guilford, New Hampshire, about, hey, we're holding off hope today. There's been other rumors and stuff at other venues that, hey, they're trying to have dates set up in August and September for the shows that aren't going to happen in May, June, and July. But I still think that these ultimately are going to be canceled, because logistically, a lot of these bands, they can't come to New England in September. It's too risky, because it can be really, really cold. They're not going to be able to go to Guilford, New Hampshire for parts of September either. I've been up there in New Hampshire, southern New Hampshire, and some days it's really warm and some days it can be really cold. And that's going to affect equipment and crowds and safety. So I don't see that happening. I do see that a lot of these tours are going to announce they're postponing. A lot of them are going to fall apart. You're going to see a lot of festivals that may have a shot at a 1 or 2 or 3 day festival to go on in the southern states where it is warmer, where there are less restrictions, and there will be less restrictions by the time you get to August, September of 2021. But these coast to coast tours, to have every single stop have to be insured. Every single stop have to have security. Every single stop, you're trying to have 100% capacity. It's too much work. It's too much downside. It's too much backlash to go to a New York City, where I doubt this entire summer in New York City there's going to be a general admission pit. I do not see it in New York City. They could have full seating capacity. I don't see a GA pit. So that's the dilemma that artists are going to have to finally come to Jesus about and tell their fans. They holding off that announcement. I'm telling you, the major shows are canceled. The mid-tier to lower tier shows may go on with distance. But Kenny Chesney, this is the first domino to fall as far as the postponements, because Taylor Swift canceled. She just canceled everything. But I just see everyone following suit. The Dave Matthews Band, Pearl Jam, all the other big acts that have these larger tours, they are going to announce the same thing very soon. I think March, early April, you're going to hear more of these announcements. Let me know what you think. Definitely like, comment, and subscribe. It's your boy ConcertViz34. I'm out. Peace.